Phoenix, rise. Don't be afraid. It's time to open your eyes. Wake up. Stay focused.
Have you ever heard someone say, or a psychologist say, stop talking about your trauma. You're reliving your trauma. Stop talking about your trauma. Stop talking about your trauma. Stop reliving your trauma. If you keep talking about your trauma, you will make yourself sick by reliving it. If you keep talking about the trauma, you stay stuck. Pay attention. Pay attention now, because this gets deep. Whoever said that statement obviously doesn't know the Most High like I do. Whoever said that statement obviously doesn't know the Most High on this level, because the Most High is greater than any trauma you could ever experience. Let me tell you, one of the realest of the reals, you guys, one of the biggest reasons people have such a hard time talking about trauma, what happened to them. It's fear. But not just fear from what happened because of fight or flight and you're reliving it. No. It's fear of not being validated. You're a human being with a brain that works a certain way. God created you that way. If you are healing from trauma, I'm sure you heard of fight or flight. You see, one of the reasons psychologist says, don't talk about the trauma, it doesn't heal you. The brain can't help but to think that it is in danger. When you talk about it, your brain thinks it's in danger, right? You start talking about it, and your heart, it beats faster. You get sweaty, you get sweat beads on your forehead and your nose, right? Ooh. Palms sweaty, right? Your saliva dries or gets thicker. Your senses get heightened, right? This happens because of fight or flight. Neurotransmitters and hormones are released. And just like us, who suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, or CPTSD, and live with different types of flashbacks, when you talk about it, your mind pulls up that visual and you begin to relive it. But don't get me wrong, it's a fact. Psychology will tell you, talking about the trauma will make things worse. It makes you feel worse. So if this is true for you and you're suffering through this, towards the end of this video, I have some tips and tricks and life hacks and tools to help you live through it, improve the quality of your life, not to take the place of therapy, although it is very therapeutic. I'm a minister with education and training on therapy. But to improve the quality of your life while you're trying to heal from trauma or childhood trauma, or healing while you're living with disability, mental or physical, caused by the trauma. These tips and tricks that I'm going to teach you are gaining great popularity with all who I have been blessed to and gotten the chance to serve and minister to through my services. But listen, because this is the biggest reason why I made this video. It's wrong. Okay? It's wrong to keep telling people they're stuck in their trauma. It's wrong to keep telling people they're stuck in life and not moving forward. It's wrong to keep telling people just because they are talking about the trauma. Maybe they cry. Maybe they get fatigued and depressed when they tell it. Maybe even have a flashback. It's wrong to say you're stuck. You haven't let go. you're not healed, you haven't forgiven, you don't trust the Lord because you haven't healed, and you're still crying when you talk about the story. It's wrong. You can't help anyone till you've helped yourself. It's wrong because the Most High is greater than any trauma that you've ever experienced. And He can help you while He is using you to help someone else. He works in mysterious ways. If you keep leaning on your own understanding, you're going to miss the gifts that are available for you to take. They're already there and promised. They're already right in front of you, right? First of all, if they go through all that and still have the strength to do it again and talk about it over again and tell other people their stories, seeing that from the other side, the other person seeing that, the other person having a hard time talk about it, seeing that from the other side is empowering. It inspires and gives hope. It gives learning. We learn from each other's struggles. We learn from each other's struggles to get it right. Well, I heard a psychologist say, if you're that type to tell your story and feel empowered, well, good for you. That's great. But for us, that it causes more harm than good, don't talk about it. And then they just left it there and went on giving tools to help the client or patient stay silent. First of all, that is so belittling to someone's progress. You don't know what it took, how much work they put in to be able to talk about it and tell their story. It's not easy for anyone after trauma. It takes work and wisdom gained by doing it. It should be a way bigger deal considering all of what it does to the body, mind, spirit, heart, and soul. Second, most people that have gone through trauma like rape, incest, childhood traumas, sexual assault are not just silent. It's not just us not just talking about it because it's hard. No. See, what most psychologists fail to acknowledge is the difference between being silent and being silented, made to be silent. See, that's when a psychologist actually went through something without support, with support or without support. There's a difference between choosing silent and being made to be silent. And then they're struggling to break that silence. Because that silence causes us to hold on. There is no fight. There's no fighting it or flight. There's no running from it. It's just tucked away, rotting inside you when you're silented. Like the splitting cells of cancer growing bigger, like a tumor. Or like gangrene in a deep wound. The bacteria festering and literally eating away at your flesh, your body. Only in this case, it's an inner deterioration. It's deteriorating on the inside and breaking you apart. And those are the kind of wounds that never heal all the way. They are the kind of wounds that constantly and consistently reopen and trigger it over and over again, that trauma. But to understand those stages of healing, see, physically and spiritually, there's a small difference, but there's a big difference that people aren't aware of. And I made this video about healing wounds in the energy and emotions because it's so important. Healing wounds, energy, and emotions all form together to your success in moving on and forgiving and healing your body and healing your mind, soul. This video, I really recommend you watch it. It is the stages of healing. I know a lot of you are saying, you're a minister and you're telling us that the Most High can't heal a wound all the way. Yes, he can. But you need to watch this because it's not like how you think. But for you, those who are having a hard time breaking that silence after being made to be silent or choosing to be silent for whatever reason, maybe you don't have all the support, and when you start talking about your traumas, if people don't like to hear it, they're not receptive. They're not helpful. It might remind them of their own pain, or they just don't know how to handle it. So for you, psychotherapists are special because there's someone who has been through counseling and therapy themselves for a year or more before being licensed to practice, which means they are more likely have walked it. They've been through trauma. Yeah. And they're educated and trained, much like a minister, a reverend, Dr. Reverend, or bishop. And they're trained to help you break that silence and heal. It takes work. You may have a narcissist or a psychologist, and or they're overloaded with patients or clients and can't, because helping you talk through it or talk about it, all the things it could cause you, is too much work. And it's easy for them to say, it's going to cause you more pain, so let's not do it. You know, I'll just help you live with the silence and get past your triggers, or make your triggers your superpower. You know, check out my video on narcissistic psychologists and therapists exposed. I bet you didn't know. You might want to request those doctor's notes to see what's really going on. So it's true. Talking about the trauma or reliving the trauma can cause you more harm than good. So getting help from a trained professional that knows the difference on how to help you is so important. They know the difference between someone who cannot talk about it or is trying to find their strength to talk about it and help you do that, or is there but just struggling. Because if you're there and you're just struggling and they stop you from talking about it, it can be even more detriment than the trauma itself. But getting stuck in fight or flight or stuck in life, this is not true for everyone. And making everyone out to be that way is not only hurting the people that are having a problem with it, but it is backsliding. It's taking away all of the work, the progress, to the people that are able to do it, that have put the work in and have found that strength. You don't belittle that. Right? So it always doesn't make you sicker or weaker or stuck. Sometimes it makes you stronger. your skin a little thicker. It does give you clarity if you can get to the point where you can see God's plan in it. When trauma is talked about, people leave out the Most High. The focus is on the trauma unless you learn to see it from every angle possible. You know, when you start to see the bad and the good you can get out of it. The strength you didn't know you had until you went through the trauma and lived. It didn't kill you if you are here watching this. Once the main focus is not on the trauma, when you talk about it, you begin to develop your higher faculties. Yes. Because pay attention here. Because the Most High has put everything in you that you need. You are made whole in the likeness and image of the Most High God. You weren't created to fail. He didn't create you to fail, even through your traumas. You have everything you need to succeed, to heal from this. You can do this. Develop those higher faculties. Those higher faculties were put in you for situations like this, for traumas like this, for hardships, and for the good things, so that you can decipher between what you need to focus on. And those higher faculties are definitely here for that. The first one I'm going to say is perception. Perception, what I just talked about. Because what you focus on has everything to do with it. Yeah. Where you're standing, how you're seeing it, has everything to do with it. What you're telling yourself has everything to do with it. Number 2, your God-given will. Will. It's underestimated. And there's so much confusion on what will is. Now that's going to be another video. And number 3 of your higher faculties is imagination. And I'm going to tie 3 and 4 together. Imagination and memory. The 4th higher faculty is memory. That hippocampus that's involved in those flashbacks. You have to develop that. And honestly, typically, psychology looks at those flashbacks as a weakening. And it messes up the memory. Adds or takes away. I say, someone who has been living with PTSD for some time and observed in others as a minister, it doesn't just mess it up. And there are other sides to it. And because remember, these are higher faculties, not your senses, your regular senses that we're all familiar with. You know, we have your sight, touch, smell, hearing, you know, those things. But technically, you think about it, all of those things really are just one sense. There's just one, not 5, 6, or 7 senses. There's just one. And it's all touch. Sound waves vibrate and touch your eardrums. You feel something touching you. It's touching your skin. You see something. The light reflects the image and turns the image brights it up for you to see the image properly. It's touching. The light travels and touches your eye, the parts of your eye that gets the light. So it's really not touching, hearing, and smelling, your olfactory glands. All of that is touch. But for the 5th higher faculty is reason. Reasoning, okay, right? your ability to reason what has happened and what to do to respond and not react. The frontal lobes, that's the part of the brain that's responsible for reasoning, right? The frontal lobes of the brain. You're talking about the trauma and your body feels imminent danger and reasoning will kick in. But that's in the past, right? You tell yourself, I am safe right now, even though it feels like I'm not. A lot of times we lean more towards the feeling than the reasoning. But those higher faculties in talking about it helps you learn not to do that, right? So we're going to go ahead on. The sixth higher faculty is one of the most important besides will, and that's your intuition. Your intuition. Yeah, moms, you all know what intuition is all about. You guys know it. You already know. Your intuition is one of the most important things that we possess as mother to get through what we have to get through and sacrifice and raise these souls that we call children. Intuition. With these higher faculties, your instincts will become more keen. If you give it to God, to the Lord Jesus, the Most High God. I'm an interfaith bishop, so whatever source you follow and governs your spiritual sense about yourself and governs your decisions, give it to the Most High. Don't give up and don't give in to all of the negativity that trauma has to offer. Open your eyes and see that everything, even trauma, has a flip side. Look at the other side. It's okay. I'm going to give you a quote. And this quote is from Bob Proctor. And then I'm going to share with you some Bible verses that truly have helped me on my journey of healing. Bob Proctor's quote is, your body is the instrument of your mind. It's not the other way around, my friends. Your mind is not the instrument of your body. No. See? You do got this. You can do this. Your body is the instrument of your mind. Say that over and over again. That is a positive affirmation. And for the Bible quotes, these quotes, and like I said, I'm an interfaith bishop. So you don't have to go into the Bible and start reading it, but you can just check out these quotes like you would just check out a quote from, say, like Bob Proctor, Voltaire, if you're not a Christian, but it's still a quote and it could help you. So here we go. Isaiah 40 through 29 further elaborates that God strengthens the weary and empowers the weak, promising renewed strength for those who hope in him. Isaiah 41:10 assures believers that God will strengthen and help them, urging them not to fear. That was the Old Testament. And the New Testament, 2 Corinthians 12:9 through 10 says that God's power is perfected in weakness, that through reliance in Christ, one finds strength even through hardship. Philippians 4:13 declares that one can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Amen. These verses convey that God strengthens the weary and enables perseverance, and perfects his power in human weakness. Now, as promised, I'm going to give you some distraction and positive activities, some tips and tricks and tools that really do help and that I use myself. You need to find positive activities. That's one. You want to try to engage something that your mind is going to be focused on, activities that you enjoy, hobbies, exercise, spending time with your friends. A lot of times when you're living with disability because of trauma and you're trying to heal, you don't really have the support. It's hard for people. People don't really know what to do to help you, and it might remind them of their own trauma, so they have avoidance of you. So isolation is big. Try to reach out. When you're feeling overwhelmed, because that is something that happens when you're healing from trauma, everything piles up. It takes over everything, and you can't even concentrate on things. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, trying to distract yourself by moving around or talking to somebody about a different topic, this is not avoidance. This is distraction. Journaling. Besides finding positive activities or changing that channel when you're overwhelmed, journaling, writing down your thoughts and feelings could help process them, and it prevents them from spiraling into rumination, right? If you got adjustment disorder, you understand. That is what is destroying you. That is reliving it. The journaling helps with that because you're getting it out. If you're not ready to verbalize it and you really want to, this is the way to start. Journaling is a magnificent way of healing and maintaining the healing, all the work that you put in, the progress, maintaining that progress. Have some mindfulness and self-awareness. Mindfulness, it involves paying attention to the present moment, but not just paying attention to the present moment. It's paying attention to the present moment without judgment. And this can help reduce rumination, right? The thoughts that just keep going. Next, mindfulness and self-awareness. Part of it is deep breathing, right? Deep, slow breathing. Right? You can go into my channel. I'm always telling you to breathe. You can go into my channel and see, okay? I am big on taking a breath. It acknowledges the life that you've been given. It calms you down, your muscles. You know, you sit there and you're grinding your teeth and your shoulders are up to your ears. Your butt's sore because you're so tense. Your arms hurt and your muscles are tired. Take a breath. Put your hand over your heart. Feel your heart beating, right? You feel that? That's life. Acknowledge the life God's given you. Feel your heart beating. Feel the air filling up in your lungs expanding. And when you exhale, you can hear it leaving your body. That's the most important part, taking a breath. You hear it leaving, you feel it leaving. When it's leaving your body, something else is coming in. You're letting go and you're making room for something more positive. And when you let it go, you're giving it to God. Let's do that right now. Take your right hand, put it over your heart. When you breathe in through your nostrils, 4 counts. And I want you to hold it for 4 counts. And then I want you to breathe out through your teeth. And for 4 counts, and when you release, let go and give it to God. Come on, let's do it. Put your hand over your heart. Close your eyes and concentrate, breathing through your nostrils for 4 counts. You feel that? You feel that peace and that calm? Hold on to that for as long as you can. And for crying out loud, have some self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding, especially when you're struggling with difficult emotions. Don't be hard on yourself and say that you're stuck and having difficulty with emotions. Something bad happened to you. Perhaps you are stuck. Perhaps it did make you stuck, because it does happen. Don't linger on it. That alone is going to make you stuck. There are different levels of being stuck. So don't get stuck on your stuckness. Take a step. Let the first step you take that breath. Be kind to yourself. You're not bad because you're trying to heal. You're not bad because it's taking you forever. People saying it's taking you forever, well, that's their time schedule. The Most High has his own. That brings me to the rest. Repeating positive affirmations about yourself can counter those negative thoughts. So, positive affirmations, right? I am not good enough because it's taken me too long to heal. No, the Most High didn't create you to fail. The Most High didn't create me to fail. I'm made in the image and likeness of the Most High. I'm not created to fail. And I am worthy, I'm enough. I can do this. So the third thing I have to tell you is self-care, which brings me to the third, self-care. Prioritizing it. We don't do that. We get it in when we can. No. Self-care needs to be prioritized here. Make sure to eat healthy, exercise regularly, and get enough sleep. Sleep gives you that shutdown time. It's the most important part. You're not standing in the way of yourself. Your body has a chance to use all the things that God put in it to help you heal, like your melanin, substance P, the neurotransmitter substance P. It helps you take pain away. When you're asleep, you're not thinking about it. Seek support. Find somebody that you can talk to about it that's in the flesh. Talk to the Most High. Find a body. I'm an interfaith minister. If you need confession, try Confession the Interfaith Way. It's a little different. Check it out. PhoenixHealingMinistries.org. No judgment. Judgment-free zone with zero tolerance for spiritual bullies. If you just need to talk and get it out because you're sick and tired of holding it in yourself and is afraid of fitting other people, I'm here. You need to do something. Because when you're in trauma, you don't really want to feel it. And it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up, especially when you're been silented. But you don't want to numb that. Don't go to drugs. Limit your substance use. Avoid it. You don't want to use it. Avoid to use alcohol to cope with your trauma or any other drug. I'm not talking about the pharmaceuticals. That's totally a choice there. It should totally be your choice, not the psychologist. But of course, if you have a well-learned psychologist, minister, with the experience, maybe walk through it, maybe they have the better solution, which is not to talk about it right away. But they can help guide you. But don't turn to the drugs and start numbing yourself. But the psychologist can give you drugs like serotonin reuptakes, safe drugs, any type of ACE inhibitors, because you might have high blood pressure. But if you can help it, don't take it. Don't take the marijuana. Don't buy the bottle of alcohol. Buy some green juice instead. But I'm curious to know, how many of you have been prescribed medications and are trying to get off of it because the medications are making things worse or making you feel worse? They give you an allotted time where it's supposed to get into your system, and then you're supposed to be more readily to accept it and handle it and not notice what it's doing to you, except for the balance of serotonin, maybe, as an example. But it doesn't. I'm finding a lot of people saying to me that the medication isn't helping. And they're afraid. They're afraid of all of those side effects, which are pretty long and pretty messed up. I'm just curious how many of you guys are going through that. And I'm curious to how many of you guys have not been prescribed medication because you chose not to take it. And I want to know why, so other people can have a more broad perspective on medication. Write it in the comment box. Talk about that. I think that awareness needs to be made open. And I'm not the only one with the story. Let me hear it. I want to read it. When you want to break that silence, seek professional help. Be it a minister like myself, okay? Like a psychotherapist. I think psychotherapy is really good for people who need to talk about it, who need to break that silence from being silenced, from being made to be silent. Sometimes not talking about it does more harm than good. And then sometimes talking about it does more harm than good. So you need to find a professional that can help you decipher the difference and make a plan with goals that are realistic for you to attain. Small steps. That's what you need to do. Trauma-focused therapy. A therapist can help you process the trauma and develop coping strategies through techniques like prolonged exposure therapy or growing popular cognitive behavioral therapy. And like I said, in some cases, medications may need to be prescribed to help the symptoms of your trauma, such as anxiety or depression or high blood pressure, right? Perhaps you seek too much comfort in food and now you're diabetic and you have to take insulin. Whatever drugs that you need to take them, but do not abuse substances to numb that pain. Get it out positively. Remember, it is the journey that we're taking here. The trauma is just a part of that journey. Don't let the trauma be your whole journey. The Awakening of Phoenix Living with Disability Healing, LLC, has a registered trademark. We have a saying. It is not just your spirituality that can define your journey. It is your journey that can define your spirituality. This is spiritually defining. That's what trauma does. It is the part of our journey that strengthens, it doesn't weaken you. The Most High said it. You were not created to fail. You were created to triumph over this, to testify and help your brothers and sisters. We are all a part of this world, this universe together. We are all created. It doesn't matter what creation story you follow, Big Bang Theory, right? Lucy, the division of the firmaments. God created man, he created all the animals, and he saw that it was good. these animals he created. Whatever creation story you follow, it doesn't matter. We're all here living. You are a living soul. We can help each other through this. So if you are struggling and you just need some help with life, check me out also here on YouTube and Facebook, Healing 101, Help with Life. I have a group on Facebook. It is private, and I have a page that is public. God bless you. Check us out on YouTube also, Healing 101, Help with Life. God bless you. I hope to hear from you soon. I hope to hear from all your struggles of triumph. I hope you give advice to other people. I hope you're able to get advice from other people. Inspire, empower. We can heal together. Don't give up. You're not alone. You're not unwanted. You're not forgotten. I am praying for you. I know you're my sister. I know you're my brother. We can do this. Please remember my trademark saying, my registered trademark saying, listen, it is not just your spirituality that can define your journey. It is your journey that can define your spirituality. Don't give up. God bless you all.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Awakening of Phoenix Living with Disability Healing. This channel was created to empower those who feel and become unwanted after trauma, to heal through spirituality, and improve the quality of their life while living with disability. I want to thank you all for your support. Our trademark is now registered. It is not just your spirituality that can define your journey. It is your journey that can define your spirituality.